Hello, everyone. It's Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. Thanks again for joining me for our Monday Ask the SEO World community live streams. You can find us here Mondays at noon Eastern in the US. And each time we dive into a new topic with a terrific guest from our awesome SEO World community. And of course, today is no different. This live stream is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. We are the leading training and education organization for all things content marketing. And actually, we have an event coming up. Let me see if I can roll this video here. All right. And our event, ContentTECH Summit, is March 22nd through the 24th in sunny San Diego. I don't know about you. I'm staring out the window. There's a foot of snow. My phone says it's 17 degrees. Sun, San Diego sounds pretty good in a couple of weeks. So over 2 weeks, we'll be chatting with some of our content tech speakers during this live stream, diving into their session topics. And if you stick around for the end of this live stream, I will share with you a special discount code to save on your registration. All right, as always, as you guys are joining us, feel free to drop us a line in the comment section. We love to hear from all of you. If you have a question, you have a comment, it makes for more engaging conversation when we hear from all of you. All right, today's topic, as I mentioned, we are going to be previewing our awesome sessions for ContentTECH Summit. And for many companies, SEO is the foundation of their inbound marketing efforts. Of course, if we build it over time with lots of great content, they will come. But what if they don't? What if they just don't show up? How can you use content marketing when no one is searching for you? All right, I am excited for today's guest. Ali Orlando Wert is a good friend of ours here at the Content Marketing Institute. She's been a speaker at both of our events, ContentTECH Summit and Content Marketing World, for many years now. She's an award-winning marketing leader, passionate about building loyal audiences and driving measurable results through content marketing. Ali is currently the Director of Marketing Strategy at SmartBugMedia, a globally recognized intelligent inbound marketing agency. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. So let's dive in here. So what are some of the challenges that marketers are facing with this traditional SEO-driven strategy for their content marketing?
Sure. So from my perspective, some of the challenges, and for me, this topic actually was born out of conversations I've been having with some of my colleagues. We're an inbound marketing agency, and so of course SEO is the cornerstone of most of our marketing efforts. We often start with SEO as one of the pillars of our content strategy planning, and are always looking for ways to build organic traffic and pull people in. But there are situations where that just doesn't deliver the results that it does for other types of businesses. And two of those situations that I can think of right now are, one, when a business is trying to establish a new category. And so they maybe are coining a new term, a new type of product, a new way of thinking. And so in that instance, no one is really searching for that solution yet because it's something new. And another situation where something similar can happen is one where the market is really highly saturated already. So maybe the majority of the marketplace is already using some type of solution. They're very comfortable with what they're using. Maybe it's not the best, but they don't have the motivation to look for something else. And so that's another situation where, again, no one is really searching for the solution. And so businesses in either of those types of situations may find that SEO is not necessarily a great starting point for their marketing strategy and how to bring people in, because the search traffic is just not there.
All right, so that's not good. So if no one is searching for us, what now? What does that mean for our content marketing strategy?
Good question. So two things that I advise my clients, and as I've been talking with my colleagues and kind of brainstorming around this, one has to do with what to do with your SEO strategy, and then the other kind of where to take your content strategy outside of the SEO box. So on the SEO side, I think that one of the keys is expanding the content strategy beyond what may have been your starting point for those key terms that you wanted to rank for. If people are not searching for those terms right now, that doesn't mean they won't ever be, but most likely your content strategy needs to start to expand. It needs to go broader. It needs to go higher up in the funnel, which can be a hard sell sometimes for companies who want to talk about their product. They want people to know about the solution. They want to get to product really quickly. But if no one's searching for that product, we have to pull them in through something different. I heard somebody recently describe that sort of content strategy thinking as a solar system, and I really liked that metaphor. And if we think of the core topic and phrase, that product area, we eventually want people to be familiar with. That's sort of the center of our solar system. But then we need to expand further and further and further out until we find those topics that have relevance for our key personas, are going to help us build engagement and build thought leadership, even if they're not directly about our solution. And then those are the hooks we can use to start to draw people in and build that familiarity with the actual solution that we offer. So that's one thing as far as tweaking the actual SEO strategy itself. And then the second thing I say just for the content strategy is focus on engagement. And that's, I think all content marketers know that. But again, it can be hard to keep that focus when we've got other competing priorities. But knowing that the goal is not just to push our key phrase and our product focus message, but to build ongoing long-term engagement, relationship, education with our personas, and eventually the selling will come.
And we don't want to imply that SEO has no value, right? It still definitely has a place.
Absolutely. And so I think that, as we mentioned, expanding the content strategy to find the other areas that you can talk about that have some keyword, that some search volume, that are of relevance and interest to your persona. Build some thought leadership there, build some engagement there, and use those as hooks to nurture people, to bring them in and draw them closer in towards the center of your solar system, as it were, until you can start to engage them with content around the solution they didn't even know that they needed to be searching for. Another area where the SEO strategy can still come into play here is when I'm working with those who have these key phrases that don't have a lot of search volume. We focus more in the beginning on position and just making sure that we are owning that term, even if there isn't any search volume for it. So maybe we would create a pillar page and a cluster strategy around that key phrase, knowing it's not going to have a ton of traffic right out the gate. We're not banking on it to have a lot of traffic, but as we educate the market, as people get more familiar with that term and that solution, we want to already own that space so that when the search starts happening, we're there, we own it, we've established ourselves in the number one position, so that there's no question that we are the thought leader in that area, and doing outbound marketing as well. Maybe inbound is not going to be the bread and butter if we're in this type of category, but using outbound PR, paid media, email marketing, even direct mail, et cetera, to get the word out and build the engagement.
So as you're working on those strategy, are there some technology, some tools that you find most useful when you're building this strategy?
I do, definitely. Personally, I use SEMrush for the keyword analysis and research. I'm totally addicted to it now. It's really easy to use, and that's always my starting point for keyword research and looking for, first of all, let's look at our key phrases. Is there any search volume here? In these kind of situations that we're talking about, there often is not. And so then we have to start to expand that strategy and look broader. All right, what are some other challenges, other problems that our personas in this industry are facing that's still tangentially tied to what we do, but we may have to get even a little bit further and further to find those that have some enough search volume to make them worth building content around. But then also, as I mentioned, getting a good understanding of our positioning and our ranking around the terms that we want to own, that we want to be thought leaders in, even if there isn't any volume there. And then the other tech tool I use religiously is HubSpot. We're a HubSpot marketing agency, so I have gotten very familiar with that tool over the last few years. And HubSpot has some tools built into the system that allow you to actually map out your pillar and cluster strategy, which I really like. The ability to visualize that and strategize and have it all really nicely laid out, as well as the reporting and analytics tools I use frequently.
Those are two great tools to use. So we only barely touched on your presentation here. What are some other things you're going to touch on during your content tech session, this particular session?
A big chunk of it is going to be, which I'm excited about this because I am brainstorming and pulling in ideas from other strategists across the agency because I found that this was definitely a challenge that others of us were having. Often our starting strategy is SEO and content. And so, like me, I found that other strategists were in situations where that was not necessarily content, obviously still a great place to start, but SEO wasn't a great place to start. And so we've just been brainstorming what are some other out of the box types of marketing initiatives that we could do, and how do we still make content a really integral part of them? So maybe we need to focus on PR, maybe we need to focus on guest posting, getting backlinks, events, referral programs, some of those more things that don't normally fall into the bucket of content marketing, but in my opinion, content should be an integral part of absolutely every part of marketing. And so that's definitely something I'm going to dig into a little bit more in the presentation.
Great. And how many years have you spoken at ContentTECH?
I think this will be my 4th year.
So what's your favorite thing? Why do you keep coming back to ContentTECH?
I do love San Diego, but I would come even if it weren't in San Diego. I love that it's a little bit smaller than Content Marketing World. And so for me, the networking is just absolutely great at ContentTECH. It's small enough that you get to actually meet people, have really good discussions, make great connections that I've been able to maintain over the last few years, but still large enough that there's a really good selection of content and sessions going on.
Yeah, and it's just like a more focused group of people, attendees, like on this very specific topic of, marketing, content, technology. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right. As I said, if you're interested, here is the website, content.tech. Did we mention it was in San Diego in a couple of weeks? So you can head over there to learn more or to register. And I also said I would give you a little code here, save 100 to save $100 off your registration. So we hope to see you guys in San Diego. Ali, where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
Sure. Yeah. I use LinkedIn most often. Ali Orlando Wert. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter, but not a super heavy user, but I will be using it during ContentTECH. So also Ali Orlando Wert on Twitter as well.
So yes, if you are registered for ContentTECH or interested, please check out her session as well. All right. Thank you, Ali, so much for joining us today. Thank all of you as well, and have a good week.